Welcome to Talk Around Riyadh, the Wheel of Time showcast. I am your host, Joe Perry, here with my co-hosts, Jen Isgro and Tom Kokoza. Jen, how are you doing this fine, pre-summer evening? It's technically not summer yet today, right? Is it tomorrow?
I think
Could
summer
be today or tomorrow, right?
started at the afternoon, technically.
Today?
Yeah, today's the first day. Tomorrow's the first full day of summer. Tomorrow's the longest day of the year if you're in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah, so you have to spend that day outside entirely because it's the longest day of the year.
Egg. You got to balance an egg, right?
Oh, yeah,
or is it those are the
those are the equinoxes.
Solstices, the equinoxes, yeah.
Yeah, those are the equinoxes.
Sorry.
Does work. You know what? Try balancing an egg anyway and see.
Let us know.
See what happens. Prove me wrong.
Post it on social media. Tag us in it. We want to see people balancing eggs tomorrow.
My
of course,
wish.
Yeah, if you live in other countries, or the Southern Hemisphere. Is this the winter solstice?
It's the winter solstice. Yeah, it's the shortest day of the year for that.
In the Southern Hemisphere. So maybe you can balance an egg there. Maybe you balance the egg on the other side because you're in the Southern Hemisphere, right?
Sure. That's how it works.
Tom, I don't think I asked you how you were, but it sounds like you're doing well.
I am, Joe. I'm excited about this special episode.
Yeah, we're doing a little short mini episode. So I'm sure if you actually paid attention when you either downloaded this episode or went wherever you went to get this episode and you're like, this episode's only like 7 minutes long or however long it is. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it's going to be very short. It's because we came here for a very specific reason. We have important information that we need to tell you, and we don't want to get it confused with all the other nonsense and gobbledygook that we usually talk about. Isn't that right, Tom?
Yes, I think, especially with the nonsense and gobbledygook part that we normally talk about. But yeah, we've got something we want to tell you, the loyal listener, about, and we want to do it today. We don't want to wait for another week when we may have other things to talk about. We want to talk about it now. Yeah, what we have is, I believe I'm calling it the Talk Around Riyadh presents the second annual scientific survey.
Professional.
Can you remind us what the first annual scientific survey was?
Yeah, so about a year ago, we created a website that you, the listener, could go on to, and it asks a simple question: which of these characters is more of a main character in the Wheel of Time? Right?
I want a disclaimer here. We didn't create the website.
No, we didn't create. Well, we created the web page.
Okay, yeah, web page. I think. Let me check with the lawyers. Yeah, that's okay.
Yes. All right.
They're giving me a thumbs up.
Right. So we created the survey. 2 names would come up. You would vote on which one you thought was more the main character, and we had that run for a little while. After a relatively short amount of time, tens of thousands. Do you remember how many votes we got?
Yeah, exactly? there was about 36,000 votes last time.
36,000 votes.
I remember being like shocked and gobsmacked, apoplectic, all of those words at the same time. But there's kind of like that's because you can vote more than once, right? You can vote as many times as you want because it just pulls up 2 random names from the list and you vote which one's more, right? And it just keeps going and going and going. You could literally do this forever if you wanted to. It's very quick.
Permutations are in the I think in the trillions of possible combinations that you can get. So it keeps going and going and going. And like Joe said, it's very quick. Lots of fun. And
you can easily knock out like 30 votes in a few minutes.
Yeah. So last year we did that, and we ranked based on those 36,000+ votes. We ranked who was the most main character in the Wheel
We
of
didn't
Time.
rank. You ranked.
Right. Audience ranked.
You ranked, yes.
The audience, the voters, the listeners, the fans.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's very scientifically done, very accurate, and there we go. So we did that. That was great. if you want to find out who was the most main character, or who was like the 81st most main character, or where exactly the Casban line fell,
was it 81? I think you might. I think you might be.
Casban line.
You could go back about a year ago to our episodes. I think they were in late May of last year or early June, and listen to the 3 episodes that we did recapping that list. But this year, Joe, different question. It's the 2nd annual scientific survey, so we're surveying a different question for you, the Wheel of Time fandom, right? As we've talked about on the show, if you're listening to this, you've probably seen out there in the social media world, there's a lot of fan campaigning, the Save Watt campaign, right? To try and let people who create television know that there is a strong desire to see more of this show, and we would like, somebody to open their eyes and their wallets and realize what an opportunity they have in front of them. In that spirit, what I thought was a good question to ask, what we all thought was a good question to ask, was what character from the books do you most wish to have seen in the Wheel of Time TV show? So we have a list of 125 characters from the books that have not yet appeared on the show. And we're going to ask you 2 at a time in some random combination to vote which one do you most want to see on the show, right?
Yeah. No one who's been on the show so far, but there are characters that have been named and mentioned and referred to. Now, I think this was this was something we had debated whether we were going to put those people on, and I think, Tom, you rightly said no, if they haven't appeared on the show.
I will say this: there is one slight cheat.
Is that Brigida?
That is Brigida. There is a character who's clearly Brigida in season 2, but she's not named and she doesn't say anything, and would likely be recast if the show were to continue. So we included her on this list of 125 characters, but it ranges the gamut, every type of character from across the entire series. We really did. It was a really hard job, as you know. There's over 2,000 characters named on the show, in the books rather, and we did a lot of whittling it down. But now it's up to you.
Yeah, and there's been some updates to this page. There is now an explain button that will, I guess, pull using AI from the interwebs description of the characters if you don't remember who these characters are. We will say this disclaimer that it's not always 100% accurate, as with as AI tends to be. But most of them seem to be fairly accurate. But they're, I think it's enough to remind you and refresh you on who that person or character is. So I really like this because there are no main character, right? Nobody who's been on the TV show is on this list. So just scanning through the list, I do have some potential number 1 favorites that I think, or front runners for sure.
I think there's some front runners, but I also think, there's a real strong opportunity to be surprised. There were some mild surprises. There were some characters that, when we did the main character list, that we felt were ranked way too low, and others that we felt were ranked a little bit higher than we would have thought. Yeah. It didn't get, it wasn't as much of a surprise as we got to the end, but the top 10 was still really interesting. This one, I think there's some front runners, but it's really wide open. I think you're going to see a huge variety of things because there are cultures and characters that some people love that other people can't stand in the books, and they're all thrown in here. So if you're a big sea folk lover, you love the kin, you love
the Ogier.
The Ogier, you like the Black Aja hunt, you like every different storyline that we didn't get to yet. Yeah. Not to mention all the Forsaken, right? You can't wait for the secession storyline, whatever it is. There's characters from all of those in this list, right?
I will say this: there's definitely going to be, I think, some controversial ones in there, and I want to call one out here that you put here. And Jen and I, we reviewed this list before Tom submitted it, and we gave some feedback. Jen, were there any on the list that you recall or think might be controversial? I have one definitely, besides the Brigida one. I know
that's controversial.
That could be controversial. I know there's one on here that Jen is always going to pick as her most favorite, and that will be
Adnan Kadir.
Adnan Kadir, of course.
Yeah, that you're absolutely 100% right. I've already voted for him a bunch of times.
No
Tom, matter who is on the other side.
If for some reason it's skewed where Adnan Kadir is close to the top of this ranking, Jen will have voted a lot, I guess.
Adnan Kadir wins.
Jen's just plowing through to just get Adnan Kadir votes.
Okay.
Wait, I have a question. Well, maybe I'll ask you when we're done about somebody that's on here. It's fine.
You can ask it now, unless you think it's inappropriate.
It's probably. Wait, who's Amathera? Isn't that
Lady Amathera?
Agonor's sister?
No, it's a Panarch.
She's the Panarch.
Oh, what's that?
You think Amalisa?
Melissa, thank you. Sorry. Oh, kick me off the podcast. I'm done.
No, that's...
Sorry, I'm tired. That's right. I'm like, why is she on here?
Well, they sound very close.
Amalisa, Amathera. Got it.
The one I think
go ahead.
is controversial is... Go ahead.
Amis?
Oh, no. I thought... Yeah, I know... Yeah. People might say,
we got Amis already, but...
Yeah, she's just named Bear, but I mean...
Yeah. Go ahead, what do you think?
Tom made me toss off Vandine because Varen is Vandine, kind of, in a way, although she's not. But I gave it because I was
you're not going to get Vandine, so might as well.
Well, it has nothing to do about who you think we're going to get. It's who you want to get. Sindane. No, Sindane is the controversial one because that's Lanfear. So
yeah, but she looks completely different, and are they going to do that? That's not what that's funny because that's not what I thought you were going to say.
Because you don't distinguish between. Oh, you do actually distinguish between Agenor, Arengar, and Osingar. You do, okay.
Just so you guys know, the top 10 of this will appear in season 4 when it's renewed. So this is very important.
Yes, right. We're laying the groundwork.
We have to get Hadden and Kadir into the top 10 because when the show is picked up and renewed, Rafe is going to be looking at this list personally and making sure these top 10 characters appear in the show.
And I will say this though, there are characters in here whose time would have passed already in the show, like to appear, and you'll see you'll see it when you get the list. There are some people in here
we can still get them in.
They could, yeah, it's potential.
Right.
Tammuz might be in. We could get him in.
There's plenty of room for him. That could still happen.
Tom, one of my favorites. And I know one of your favorites here at the end of the list here is High Lord Weirman.
Oh yeah, that's who I'm.
He's primed and ready for the next season.
I know he's a glorious charge into season 4. Allow me, Lord Dragon.
Allow me to save the Wheel of Time with a glorious charge into the studios of Amazon.
Yeah, I think there's it's a good mix. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we really do want you to vote, to spread it around, get as many votes as possible. I'd love to get, even though 36,000 whatever the number is from the first time, completely like probably by 36 times beat what I thought we were gonna get in numbers of votes.
Yes.
I want to beat it this time. Now I'm greedy.
Yes.
And I think that we should, this is a good way for us to kind of voice and show people like how much interest there is in further seasons.
Yeah, and I just want to say this. I think I was saying it before we started recording. I said before, it's like takes seconds to vote, right? Like you could literally blast through 30 of these in like a couple of minutes. I would just keep the website open on my phone, and like anytime I had like downtime, if I was sitting on the train to work or, watching commercial, whatever, I would just pull it up and run through like 10 of them in like 30 seconds. So you can just keep going and spend as much time as you want, go back to it, pick it back up, bookmark it, and just, anytime you have some free time, just pull it up, go through it. There are some tough matchups. I've already run through a few tough ones where I was like, oh, this is kind of tough. So it's not always going to be easy, but vote as much as you can. Fun. do you want to get some thoughts on who we think is going to be number one?
Let me look. I just want to say too, you don't have to have free time because maybe you're in a work meeting on a Zoom
That's true.
could have been an email.
That's technically
and
free
no
time.
one's going to know if you open up this window and just click, just vote.
Yeah.
All right, let me look at the list.
I like the way you think, Jen.
Right off the bat, Berelane's gotta be close to the top.
Ooh, Berelane.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I think.
I have another one. Can I say another one?
Go ahead.
Mazrim Taim.
He's definitely one of my favorites.
I feel like those are people like
list.
we probably, maybe not Berelane, but like Mazrim Taim, I think we definitely would have seen in the next season.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was mentioned. Definitely would have got him. Somebody who we aren't getting in the show or wouldn't be getting in the show likely, Gaul.
Yeah.
Gaul might be up. You mentioned Brigida. I think she's another top.
Grendel. I think Grendel's a big.
Yeah, all the rest of the Forsaken are probably going to be.
I think Grendel has a leg up on every other, or a very curvy boob up on every.
I think Gaul might be my favorite to win this.
Yeah, I still feel there's an opportunity. The way that they set up, the end of season 3, that Gaul could just be Aiel who's imprisoned by the White Cloaks, and they have a buddy relationship as prisoners. Him and Perrin. You can still put him in. There's still time. We'll
also get like a really definitive look at how many people actually like Val and Luca, because you hear people like say, "Oh, Val and Luca, I love the circus part," but we'll see what happens. I have a feeling he's not going to be high on this list, and the love for Val and Luca isn't as great as people think it is. Another favorite who is, I know, like a fan favorite that I don't really particularly care for that much is Andrel. I think he's going to wind up being high up on that list too.
I have a fan favorite that a lot of people love that I don't particularly care about. I don't care for. I like it, the character, but I don't really care about the character. And that's Eludra. I think that Eludra's going to do very well.
Ah, yes, she's one of my favorites as well. This is going to be tough, and like you get Eludra and like Berelane or like Gaul and Brigida. Bashir is a good one too. Toralde, right? Are the two of the generals, and Pedro Niles on this too. 3 of the great generals are on this.
That's right. Then you're also going to get fun ones like Tuon versus Tylan might come up. You know?
Oh boy! I'm getting excited about this already.
Yeah. So it's totally randomly assigned. There is. Honestly, the people who create this website that allow us to make these surveys, there's a sophisticated kind of statistical engine behind the votes, so that if there are ties or if it's a very just distorted amount of randomization and someone gets a lot more opportunities to vote for another, it does that kind of weighting behind the scenes so that we have a really clear ranking when it's all said and done of who is a winner in case there's any kind of statistical anomalies in regards to the distribution. I got a little wonky there, but all I'm trying to say is that the votes will be all tallied. Vote early, vote often.
Talmanis.
Yeah.
I'm getting excited now as I go through this list. Like I can't wait to see what the fans are going to vote for. So
another personal Tom favorite that he knows is not going to make it, but you still got to hope is Hamar. I don't even really like Hamar. I just kept trying to get him on the show.
Another great time to do this is while you're listening to podcasts.
Right.
Yeah.
You got Halwyn Nori and Sebin Balber.
Balber? Did you say?
Bauer.
How about while you're on a podcast, like I've been doing for the past 10 minutes?
Jen.
I'm listening.
While you're on a podcast, listening to a podcast. Anytime you can. We're going to leave this open for... I think we'll after WatCon is when I think we'll close it, or right around WatCon, and then when we come back from WatCon, we'll reveal the. We'll go through the. Well, it's going to take us a few episodes to get through the list, though.
It's true.
We'll do chunks at a time.
It'll be okay.
You got us for at least another 3 episodes after WatCon. So, all right. I'm excited. I think we need to end this podcast so Jen could do this more without disrupting the podcast.
I've disrupted nothing.
You haven't. Nothing has been disrupted. Shall we wrap it up here?
Yeah, just we talked about it a lot. We didn't say where it is. The link to it will be in the show notes.
As with everything else, I was going to say that it's my little wrap up.
I know, but I'm just letting people know. People are like, you talked about it for XDX minutes. You didn't actually say where it was, and I think we normally, and we probably will again, host it. Like the link will, like when we post it on social media, we're going to point to our webpage, and that'll be where there's a link to it, and you can go right to it from our website.
Yeah. Go look. Click in the show notes, go on social, share it also on social media too. That we really appreciate that too, just so as many people know about it as possible. Because obviously the more votes we get, the more people we get involved, the more definitive our list is. All right. So I think 36,000 votes from last year's list can't be wrong. Although I did disagree with many, not many, some of those as you may recall from the podcast when we recorded it. So I want to remind everyone to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Join us over on Discord to continue the conversation there. We also post our episodes on YouTube, so be sure to go to our YouTube page to like and subscribe. Rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts, and check out our merchandise and Patreon pages if you'd like to support us. That's a great way to do it, and you get something out of it in return. So I would encourage you all to go to our merchandise and Patreon pages. Links to all the aforementioned information are included in the show notes to this episode, including the link to our website, which has the survey, or what is it called, Tom, again? What are you calling it this year?
The scientific survey.
Yeah, the second annual
scientific survey.
Yeah.
Scientific survey. I like it. Any final thoughts, words, Jen and Tom, before we close this up?
A joyous bar mitzvah, Isaac. Mazel tov.
Jen?
Said vote.
Yes, vote now. And be sure to listen to the podcast, because we have a special guest coming on in a couple of weeks, and there'll be more about that soon. So thanks everyone for listening, and you'll hear us next time.